Right, hi everybody. There's always a bit of guesswork as to whether we're actually live or not, because when you are doing this on StreamYard, which is what we use to stream onto LinkedIn, you just can't tell. You don't really get any feedback. But anybody that's actually here, please do give us a comment in the chat, because that will come through to us in StreamYard. There's about a 40-second delay. So if you ask a question or give us a comment, we probably won't get to it for maybe 40 seconds after you've said it, but please do that, and then we'll know that we're definitely live. In the absence of that, we'll just get going anyway. And so I'm Adam Gordon, and that guy's Stephen McGrath, as you can see from our captions. And we're going to talk to you about the Poetry and Greenhouse integration. We're very excited about this. It is an extremely sophisticated use of automation within talent acquisition. The workflow is very straightforward. The recruiter logs the rec on Greenhouse just as normal, and then within 2 minutes, they receive an email which has got a link to their playbook of all the assets that they need to do a great job on that rec from Poetry. So they don't even need to come into Poetry to get this. It just happens automatically. If you don't know what a playbook is in our context, it is a pack of assets which includes 17 essential items of talent intelligence, so that you really understand everything you need about each role to have an intelligent conversation with the hiring manager and with candidates. It is talent sourcing assets like Boolean strings and outreach messaging, recruitment marketing content such as job adverts and social media posts, as well as operational recruitment materials like interview questions and job descriptions, for example. So, Stephen, I think you're going to share your screen, go onto Greenhouse, show us what it's like to set up a rec in there, and then you're going to send me a playbook, and I'll share my screen, show you that I've received that into my inbox, and how that would look.
Yeah, exactly that. So we'll get started. This won't be overly long in terms of process for anybody, which is also quite handy. As Adam said, it's all kind of about setting up the job or the rec in Greenhouse, and then having that filter into your email inbox. So can you see that, Adam? Just so that
I just need to add that to stage. There we go.
All right. Okay, perfect. So for anybody on Greenhouse already, or if you're interested at it and just being nosy here, this is what it looks like. This is the kind of beautiful, simplistic dashboard with all of your kind of recruiting workflows, etc. in here. Now, I want to start from a job, so I'm going to create a job, and I have a few different options at this point. Just to keep things simple so we can get things moving quite quickly, I'm going to copy an existing job. Let's do the one in New York, accountant in New York. So we'll make some edits here. And of course, you just kind of go through that, fill out any details, number of recs. You can put an ID in there. So let's just do one for the sake of it. We've got full-time, headcount. And then you can start to just go through the process. Now, if I create job and continue, I can start to work through that. Now, I can add all my hiring managers at this point. I can put details of kickoffs in here, and I can keep going through this process as well. So as I start to go through this, the really great thing is I can come back and edit some of this later. So some of that kind of hiring manager kickoff, some of the interview kind of templates and scorecards, I can use the information that's populated in Poetry to come back and make sure that that is all kind of up to scratch and exactly what I need depending on what is there. As soon as I click this finish button here, it will send an email, and you'll see that I've now got my accountant job, my dashboard, and it's ready to go. So that's really as simple as it is in Greenhouse. A really easy to use, nice system with a good workflow. And our trigger is built on that kind of finish button. I will pass over to Adam. Adam will hopefully have an email in about 30 seconds, which he'll be able to open up to show you. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So I'll stop sharing and I'll come back and join you.
Okay, so the email that's come in straight from Stephen through Greenhouse, it says, please see the playbook 4. We'd love your comments. These can be added in the comment area. I click on this. It opens up the page within Poetry. Opens up the playbook, and here's all the different assets that I need to work on this job. So let's go and take a look. Research. Here's the challenges and responsibilities in this job. Notice that it's given me a summary, and I can click on detail, and it's going to give me more details about that. Okay, so next, the relevant courses in New York City related to accountant jobs, the strategic value of the role to our company, the potential for this role to become automated now or in the future. The reason we created this is because our recruiters using Poetry were telling us that there's times when the hiring managers just say, Sarah's left, I want to replace Sarah, and the recruiter's thinking, yeah, that job could maybe be a little bit different today, and we might need to provide some guidance to the hiring manager around how to think about what the job might look like. Recommended skills and qualifications for this job, salary range and benefits in New York City. We get our information from Glassdoor, PayScale, and other trusted sources of information, American Bureau of Labor Statistics, that type of thing. Similar job titles, job board suggestions. This is where to advertise and why, what type of ROI can you expect from each one. The largest employers. Note that if there is an I symbol next to that employer, I can click on that and it takes me straight through to the competitor page in here, where I can get a great sense of how does my organization line up against that other one for a variety of career-related factors, and what are the insights that we have for that organization. The companies with the best career opportunities, you can see I can do that again from here and click on here, and it gives me the summary and detailed and that information. What are the characteristics of employers that hire for this type of job? Job and industry insights, remote work trends, diversity trends, commutable locations where there are hotspots of people that can do this job, turnover and growth rates, and demand v supply. So we're not trying to be like some sort of hugely in-depth talent intelligence product, but what our customers were telling us was they want bite-sized, everyday information for the recruiter that's handling 4 new recs every single day. They can't go into huge amounts of detail. They want it sent to them, and they want to be able to understand the information really quickly. So that's what we've done. So next, we're ready for the kickoff meeting. So here's how I'm going to structure the kickoff meeting for this particular role. This is the sort of strategy or alignment meeting with the hiring manager. Now, note that the templates that we have in here are the templates we want for our company and our recruitment. You can go and configure all the templates within your Poetry workspace so that it perfectly reflects if you've got specific job adverts for Germany versus the USA. You've got types of interview questions for engineering versus sales, for example. Here's my Boolean string, accountants and similar in and near New York City. Social media outreach messaging for InMails, conversation guide. It's like an elevator pitch, but again, there's many different types of conversations you can have in here. Objection handling responses. This is customized for Poetry, of course. This workspace is for us for hiring for our own organization. Brand adverts, if you need a carousel for a volume campaign. Email copy, if we've got people in the CRM we want to reach out to. Our company's EVP, contextualized for the talent persona of an accountant. Job advert, landing page copy, talent persona, social media post. Job description. Skills-based hiring tells me what are the jobs with an overlap in the skills required. And candidate interview questions. The default is it's behavioral interview questions, which are open for the first stage, but there's, again, lots of different ways that you can go about adapting these. So a few other things within Poetry that might be worth sharing with you. Not everything feeds into the playbook. The playbook is probably 85% of usage in here. So I just select the team that I'm, if I'm not doing it on that automatic sync with Greenhouse, then I can come in here and I can just choose which team is it. It's for our marketing team. It's a marketing manager. It's based in Hong Kong. Build all the playbook assets. It takes about 20 seconds. I won't go into all the different playbook assets in here, but just so you can see, it builds right in front of your eyes and it's extremely quick. Again, 17 items of talent intelligence, talent sourcing assets like Boolean strings and outreach messaging, marketing content for talent attraction, and the operational recruiting items as well. I can, when I'm developing these, I can PDF all the assets in here once they're developed. I can add additional assets in here if I want to. I can share that with the hiring managers. So I would just select who I'm sharing it with, which is Mike, generate link. You can see Mike hasn't accessed this yet, but when I send him the link, he'll access it and I'll be able to see what he's been doing in here. Okay, so other things, there is a library for processes, there's a library for policies. When you add your processes and policies in here, Poetry reviews all of these, it reads them all to make sure that when the AI creates all the different assets, they're always on brand, in context, and having taken those things into consideration. There's this team learning area. So here's how we do advertising. Here's how we do assessment. Here's how we do CRM. It's very easy. You can see I've got admin buttons down at the bottom. It's very easy to change the text, to remove the placeholder image and upload a deck or a video or whatever it might be. My favorite area is definitely competitors. And competitors is where you can find out, all the sort of information you want about the different organizations that you're competing with for talent. So like, here's my insights around their weaknesses and strengths and leadership and that type of thing. And on the left-hand side, you can see here, like summary and detailed competitor comparison. So there's quite a lot in here. It's typically saving recruiters 25% of their time. The sweet spot is very much experienced hire recruitment. So it's for the people that are continuously hiring in IT and marketing and finance and whatever else it might be. There is utility in the exec area, absolutely. There's also utility in the volume and the early careers area, but certainly if I was starting somewhere, if I had a team of 50 people and 15 of these were in experienced hire, that's probably where I would start. I think that's where the biggest wins happen. Stephen, what have I missed or not covered, if anything?
You've not missed anything, but what I do want to do is just share my screen and tie this back into Greenhouse as well, and kind of show a little bit about how we might be able to help people go, do the things they need to do with their actual recruiting activity and jobs. So, are you able to see my screen again? Just because I've lost you. Can I do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll recognize this page. This is the accountant kind of job dashboard that happened just after we created that. And the right-hand side has changed slightly because I've simply clicked my extension button and opened the Poetry extension. You can see here that accountant and finance role that we had previously created or triggered through the API has all the information here. And what I can start to do is really just drop that into some of the setup areas here. So we've got job info, job kickoff, we've got interview plans, we've got activity feed, we've got job notes, all here in Greenhouse, which you'll be able to simply, just copy over, quick copy and paste it into the kickoff area, for example. So what we're aiming to do here is really, of course, use automation to trigger things as quickly as possible, meaning that you don't necessarily have to live in both platforms for very long, but also make that kind of data transfer really nice and really simple if you choose to use our extension as well. So this will work for things like social media posts. You can put your LinkedIn beside it. You can have your poetry on the screen pretty much at all times. As soon as you set that extension, it will be there. So we have teams who for the day they've got poetry sitting on the right hand side of the screen, and really just using that as part of their everyday workflow from job inception all the way through to completion, right? And trying to get that kind of that joy of working from one space, because goodness knows if you're anything like me or certainly the demos that I see of other tools all the time, people have always got about 142 tabs open at the top of the screen trying to navigate through them all. So that keeps that part, the recruiting workflow part, really nice and really clean for you, because you can just have poetry open at the side.
I mean, just on that, it's one of the key things that we're solving for is occasionally somebody says to us, yeah, I love this, but it is another technology. And we don't want our recruiters to be using too many technologies. And I will explain to them that there are companies who come aboard Poetry, and what they'll do is they'll do an amnesty with their existing recruiters and say, right, what are you using to already do all of this? And in some cases, if you look around the team, there could be 30 different things they're using, from ChatGPT on their phone through to people data, like subscriptions that they've gone and paid for themselves. So yes, it's one additional technology, but the intention is that it knocks out a whole bunch of things, either which are officially part of your technology stack, or are all of the restricted and non-supervised things that people are going and just making use of. Languages, there's 185 languages in here, which is arguably more than is needed, because when you get down to Cornish and things like that, there's not huge populations of commerce who are working in Cornish and Sicilian and things like that. But every major language is covered, and in terms of workspace settings, you can put things in place so that if you're in the USA, you've got USA English as the core language that's produced. If you're in the UK, you've got UK English that's the core language that's produced. You can set it up so that for certain teams and certain jobs, there's a particular tone of voice, and you can set it up so that if my default language, if our company's default language is US English, but I'm working in Germany, I can set up my user preference that I'm working in German. And if I occasionally work in Flemish or another language, then I can do that on an asset by asset or playbook by playbook basis. So fully international, all of the configuration options that a large enterprise would need. And in terms of pricing, it's based on the size of the team that's using it. So, and it's multiples of £80 or $100 per month. So you've got a team of 20, then it's 20 times £80 per month. So it's just under £20,000 annually, or it is $24,000 annually for a team of that size. Any questions or comments? Feel free to contact Stephen or I. We're easy to find because we're both connected to this event. And thank you. If you've chosen to do your applicant tracking on Greenhouse, then good choice. Yeah, contact us with any comments, questions, and look forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely.